You can do this. I know you can. You can have the life you want, and I'm going to prove it to you. My name is Shimmy Holder, and I'm your host, and this is the Create a Better You podcast. Hello, my name is Shimmy Holder, and welcome to the Create a Better You podcast. And today's topic, I want to talk to you about something I like to call the slippery banana in the art of letting go. Now, I've noticed that a lot of people that suffer from anxiety or that have issues connecting with other people, they tend to be very, very judgmental on themselves. And one thing that is very, very hard to accept is making mistakes. And for some reason, we tend to beat ourselves up whenever we make a mistake, and we just don't let it go. It's like we hold on to that mistake. It's like we want to punish ourselves, or we're so hard on ourselves and so tough on ourselves because we made a simple mistake. And it's like we just won't let it go, and we just hold on to that. And it's like we're just beating up on ourselves. It's kind of like we're bullying ourselves in a way. You know, it's like we're beating ourselves up because we're not perfect. Oh, you made that mistake last week. Oh my God, you did this, you did that. There's something wrong with you, you know? And it's like we beat ourselves up so much, it gets to the point to where we become our worst enemy. And one thing I've learned is that nobody is perfect. And until you're willing to accept that about yourself, or accept that no matter how perfect you are, you won't be loved or you won't be accepted by everybody. And that's something that I had to learn, something that was very hard for me to learn, because growing up, I wanted everyone to like me. I wanted everyone to care for me. And I felt like if I'm perfect, then there'd be no way that people could reject me. Everyone would have to love me. But the truth is, there's no such thing as perfection. You can't be perfect, right? And I've learned that no matter who you are, you're going to slip. You're going to be walking one day and you're going to slip. Everyone slips on the banana. And you have to let go of the idea of being perfect and accept yourself for who you are. Accept that you have flaws. Accept that you're going to make mistakes. That every now and then, again, you're going to slip on a banana. And it's about changing your perception, about not being so hard on yourself for making simple mistakes, for beating yourself up. Because the truth is, how you talk to yourself is one of the most important things. Because if you don't talk to yourself in a positive way, then other people definitely won't, right? Because if you don't respect yourself, then why would someone else respect you? And I learned that you have to learn to encourage yourself. You have to talk to yourself like you're your own best friend. If you make a mistake, instead of judging yourself, you should say something like, you messed up this time, but it's okay, it happens, you can do better next time. Because I've noticed a lot of people that are very, very hard on themselves, they rarely make mistakes. Like, for example, me, I was always so cautious and I didn't want to make any mistakes. So I would always be worried and look out from making mistakes. And by doing that, I naturally became a very efficient person to where I rarely make any mistakes. But when I do make that one mistake, I really beat myself up for it, or I used to. And I would make myself feel really bad. Like, I can't believe you made this mistake. Like, if you really, really take a look at yourself, you realize that you don't really make that much mistakes compared to most people. And the truth is, mistakes are natural. Everyone's going to make mistakes. Nobody's perfect. And you have to accept yourself. Until you're willing to accept yourself, it's going to be hard. You have to let go of the idea that you're going to lose something by making a mistake. Because that's where it all lines up. Because the truth is, a lot of us, we try to be perfect and we try to avoid making mistakes because we fear by making those mistakes, we're going to lose something. And usually people like us that are very, very hard on ourselves for making mistakes, usually there's someone in our lives that we're trying to impress, or someone that we fear we lose, whether it be love, attention, or maybe losing acceptance of our mother, or our father, or not being, being rejected by our friends, or not being part of a group that we want to join. So we figure if we're perfect, right, then we can never be rejected. And truth is, we have to let go of that. We have to acknowledge that every now and then we're going to slip on a banana. Everyone slips. It's unavoidable. It's going to happen, and you have to accept yourself. You are okay. And I'm here to tell you that there's nothing wrong with you, that there's nothing wrong with making mistakes. And you have to realize that you're using mistakes as a cover up, right? You're trying to be perfect so to prevent loss, which means you're attached to something. And the truth is, you have to let go of that attachment, because there's something that you fear that by making mistakes you will lose. And the question is, you got to ask yourself, what am I afraid of losing? What do I need to let go of, right? Because if you let the fear control you, right, it's going to be hard for you to live your life and to ever be free, all right? So the main goal of this episode, I just want to let you know that you're okay, right? And you need to accept yourself for who you are. And you need to do some thinking and maybe think that maybe you're trying to be perfect because you feel that if you're perfect, you won't lose out on something, whether it be love, attention. And you got to realize that you don't need those things to be loved. The truth is, before anyone can love you, you have to love yourself, right? And to love yourself, you have to let go of attachments. You have to let go of the idea that love comes from outside of you. Because how can you love someone else if you don't love yourself? And that's one of the big things that I'm trying to get you to understand. So I just want to let you know that you're okay. And there's nothing wrong with making mistakes, that everyone makes mistakes. Everyone slips on a banana every now and again. And I just wanted to let you know that. And I want you to tell you to just keep your head up and to keep going and to understand that you are unique and you are special and you are valuable. Okay, I just wanted to let you know that. So this is a brand new podcast, and I'm going to start out by just making a few episodes and sharing my thoughts and sharing things that I really care about. Okay, so at my website, shamikholder.com, right, I used to have anxious attachment, like really, really bad. And I used to be scared of everything to where it was hard for me to live my life. And I suffered for a long time, over 22 years. And I suffered from anxiety and I suffered from depression. And it crippled me. It got to the point to where I didn't know if I was going to make it, And over time, I slowly clawed my way out of it. And I learned what it's like to live life on the other side, and I was able to get over my anxiety. I mean, I'm still not 100% over it. You can never be 100% over your anxiety. But I've got over it to enough to where people have been asking questions or, looking up to me as kind of like a source of inspiration and trying to figure out how are you so happy, How do you always see the positive in everything? How do you just keep going? How do you gain your confidence? How are you so good with talking to people? How are you doing things and that you couldn't do before? Like example, this podcast, this is a whole new thing to me, right? 6 months ago, I was terrified and I would never do anything like this, let alone have a website and even put my face on there. But I realized that this is important and that by sharing my message, I'm helping people that are suffering, people that don't know, how to get out of it or how to get out of the situation. Because anxiety is more of a mindset. It's not a mental illness like many people, want you to believe. Because the truth is, the medical industry, right, they're all about profit. And when they label you with a mental illness, right, it's easy for them to sell you products or to force you to take or, take products or drugs that you don't need. drugs that actually suppress certain parts of the brain, you know. And the truth is, you don't need drugs to get rid of anxiety. The truth is, anxiety is actually caused by uh, conflicting beliefs and trauma from the past. And if you can get over the conflicting beliefs and get rid of the trauma, right, and let go, and also it's also caused by suppressed emotions, right? Because the truth is, I'll give you an example, right? Me, when I had my anxious attachment problem, right, I believed that I had to be nice, right, to get everything that I wanted. So I didn't stand up for myself. I let people step over me. And those things caused me to be angry, right? Because people were stepping over me. People were, I let people do things to me. And I was so scared to stand up for myself. And what happened is all those emotions built up inside of me. And it got to the point to where I was just holding on to all of this anger and all of this frustration. It got to the point to where it just would come out. It's kind of like a teapot. It was just like boiling over. And that anger has to come out. And that anger actually eats at your body and causes pain, right? And causes anxiety and stress, And it's like that, all that tension, it's like it's built up inside of you, and it's like it's itching to get out. And it's like it's like, and then it's just crazy how it works. But, I've learned that the main three things that cause anxiety is basically what you believe, conflicting beliefs, right? Suppressed emotions, right? And trauma from the past, like bad experiences, right? So, and the truth is, to get over anxiety and to just become happier and to just become a better person and to see things from a different standpoint, right? You have to change your perception. There's a lot of things you have to do, but there's a whole lot of practices that I created that can really help you to get over that, which you can see more of that on my website. But so before I get to that, my website is actually shameekholder.com. That's just my name, Shameek Holder, ShameekHolder.com. And also you can get the podcasts on my website as well. So I'd like to thank you guys for listening to this episode, and I will see you in the next one, okay? So I'd like to thank you very much. I really appreciate you listening, and I hope that this message gets to you and it helps you, or at least inspires you or opens your mind. And I have so much more to come. So please, stay tuned, and I'll see you in the next lesson or episode.